is I kind of had a falling out with straightforward religion, and now I go for a more spiritual thing where I believe there is a higher power that something was messing with me back in one of the houses I was living in, because of what would happen every night is I was being lifted up out of my bed, and I could feel myself being physically lifted. Either your relatives that she believes is haunting our apartment, his name is Scott. It was one of her family members that passed away around the time before we did.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
Kingdom Team Live.
What is going on, Kingdom Team Live? I'm Terry Cuthbertson, and I'm really excited to show this interview. We went to a comic book convention and had the opportunity to share the gospel. We used multiple things to bring people over to where we were at and to engage with people to share the gospel with them. Our heart was do whatever it takes to be able to ask people, do they know where they're going to go when they die? Now, some of the things we used, we did tattoo interpretation, which I have a video coming out about that. We did dream interpretation, and we did a thing called Discover Your Destiny, where we asked people what pop culture character they most relate with. Then we would kind of speak prophetic words over them and speak into them the Imago Dei, the image of God. Our goal was to share the gospel with as many people as possible. It was a great event, and during that event, we would invite a lot of the people running booths or other podcast or comic book creators to come and sit down with us. So we have lots of interviews coming up in the next couple of weeks from that. But this is one of the interviews that I really was intrigued to have, and it was such a beautiful conversation. And I feel like we had the opportunity to share the gospel. So the person in this video is Devin Price, and he's an ex-Christian who was also a part of a Christian heavy metal band about 12 to 13 years ago. And he was just sharing his process, where he's at, and it opened the door for us to have a really great conversation in which I feel like the gospel was really well presented to him. What was interesting about it was the next day he came and said how much he enjoyed having the conversation. And he said, it really was an intriguing conversation. I've been thinking a lot about it. I even spoke with my girlfriend about it. So I said to him, I would love to maybe in the next month or so set up another interview with him and just kind of recap and see where he's at in the process. So here's what I'd like you to do. Watch this video with us and maybe put in the comments things you wish I had talked about, or areas that you thought went really well, or even share encouraging words about this, so that when we have this next conversation, we'll be able to really engage well. But overall, I feel like the gospel is well shared. And so check it out. Tell me what you think about it.
This is Kingdom Team Live, and I'm Pastor Terry, and we're actually at the Grand Comic Convention, Grand Comic Fest, number 5. Dude, I had one take, and I was so excited about it, I told everyone how I keep messing it up. Grand Comic Fest, number 5, the 5th one. We're here, and we actually been interviewing people. We're doing dream interpretation, we're doing tattoo interpretation, and also, what people don't know about comic book conventions, it really draws in a lot of people from all kinds of beliefs and faiths.
Absolutely.
So we like to interview and then share our belief with them, and let them share our belief, kind of just see where things fall. And so you were telling me you actually have history with being a Christian at one point.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
I was.
Oh, wait.
No. Oh, for the.
Tell everyone who. Yeah, we're on a different podcast now. He just shot my Nerd Swag TV podcast.
Yes.
Tell everyone who you are.
So I'm Devin Price. I host a movie risk flipping podcast where we do have alcohol involved, called Thoughts and Shots. But yeah, my story. So I was actually born Methodist, and I was a avid church goer until about, I want to say around 14 or 15. Just because I was actually having a very hard time. I don't know if it was my church specifically that was doing it, but they were actually sending me into like depression.
Which your church was?
Just because I remember we were doing a Bible study on the book of Revelation or something, and I was having panic attacks during our Bible study.
Okay.
Just because at that time I was very young. I hadn't really gotten to deal with the concept of afterlife and death and such like that. But then what also kind of ended up happening is I had a longtime church friend that ended up doing some, let's just say not safe for work things, and it involved him touching children.
Okay.
So that was one thing where I was kind of like,
This is a person who claimed to be Christian.
yes,
And then
they actually also were someone with a mental disability as well on top of it. So
yeah.
they were my best friend. They were my best friend while I was in church, and that kind of like destroyed me when I was so close with me in religion.
Yeah.
But then it kind of came in a second wave when I would say about 20s. I was a Christian metalcore drummer for a band called At War with Giants. We actually played the Sunshine Music Festival up in Walmart, Minnesota a few times. Got some stories from that one too, but that's just a whole nother.
So during that, they brought in bigger names also connected to that.
I think the bigger names that we got to play with, or at least on the same stage, was like Mercy V and then like Hawk Nelson.
How's a metalcore band playing in the same venue? Hold on. Wait. You don't get Mercy. I thought you were gonna say like August Burns Red and man,
when we played was kind of the metal area.
Okay.
And then way over on the main stage was Hawk Nelson versus.
I can just see it. I can only imagine.
And so
I can just see it. He finishes. I can only imagine you come out like, with the scream metal and.
But I mean, those are the moments I do look back on from my religious experience as a very big one. But now I kind of am a more spiritual person where I believe there is a higher power.
Yeah.
And there's a higher power watching over me. And, like that at some point, like I may meet some higher power. I don't know who it may exactly be. But it's also been nicer because it's also in the same case of being spiritual. It's helped me kind of open up myself to the concept of death and accepting it, where I'm not seeing it as a terrifying thing that we're all working ever towards every day. Now I'm more like, you know what? It means that at some point I'm going to go to my personal paradise, and I'm going to get to relive my life as a whatever may happen after we pass on.
So is that kind of subscribing to some form of reincarnation? But
kind of. I don't want to come back as anything. Basically, how I see it.
You're saying you're going to go
I'm
to
hopeful that when I pass away, I basically kind of just get to go to whatever is my ideal paradise.
So, okay, what about people like with the guy you said who did things to children? Like how like that's the one where you want to get with what you're going with now on your belief. Are they going to get reborn into a paradise? And would that paradise look like torture for more children?
What I feel like it is going to happen to that person, unfortunately, is I feel like when you make such a big choice as doing something as deep as that, something as mentally scarring as that, especially to someone that they can't defend themselves, they're children. It's one of those things that I believe that they're going to have to face everything that they did on their time on Earth. And if there's anything where it's like, why did you do this? Like, you're going to have to go ahead and kind of face what you did. And kind of like face whatever decision is going to kind of come from whoever you believe in at the time when you pass. It could be whoever. Like I said, I don't have like a specific entity. I just know that there is a higher power.
Well, how would justice work in that situation?
That's the thing. Because with the afterlife? So many questions of what is the justice system of that? Like, is there like literally like a thing where it's like, oh, all it takes is one action and you're going down? Or is it like, is there some like gray area and something? I've had a lot of time to question.
You know what's interesting about that? It's like, let me just go back a little bit with your experience. You said that being under the Methodist Church caused you to have anxiety about death.
Yes.
Do you think maybe it was the way they taught it, or what are the pieces behind it that caused you that fear?
Well, it's also one part that I realized that as I was a kid, I had a lot of very self-created trauma that I was doing to myself.
Okay.
I had to kind of have an epiphany and realize how much stuff I was doing to myself and placing blame on other people for. So when I do kind of look back on that, but it's weird because I don't I'm not anti-religion. I know that the way that I've operated, where I'm happy right now, it's just not anything that I've really sought out a need for. Because I still do believe in every time my family does pray for meals on religious holidays, I still join in on that. It's it's not that I'm anti. It's just one of those things where it's just my belief now is just a higher power. And I think it makes the most sense to me. And like I said, with the fact that it's now allowed my mental clarity to kind of come through and, come to the person that I've truly wanted to be.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if some of this was an attack, because this being a part, at one point being a part of the church, there's actual demons.
Oh, trust me. I've had to battle both some personal ones and because I've already had like a unique experience as well, because like in kind of getting on the dream interpretation thing.
Yeah.
I have a very unique set. I have been a deja vu dreamer where I will have visions of exact moments and conversations that will then replay in actual reality. And they can be like months from now or a year from now.
Wow.
They will actually happen verbatim. Now I do. Yeah. And I'll be sitting there going through the moment and I'll just look, all of a sudden have the moment where I just like, oh no.
Like I've seen, wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, and then I also had one where I think something was messing with me back in one of the houses I was living in, because of what would happen every night is I was being lifted up out of my bed and I could feel myself being physically lifted. But the second I woke up, I would be getting slammed back down.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like I was falling.
Yeah.
So it's just like, between a combination of that, my dealing with my mental illnesses and all that, it's just like, my focus kind of became where it's like I don't go full on a religion anymore. And I was like, with spiritualism, I've been more able to kind of just like open up my mind and just kind of figure out myself and what I've done and what others have done to me, to know where like blame can truly be placed. Because I remember there was a couple dark times there where I remember I was like, it would be like I'd have a liquor bottle on my table and I'm crying by myself because I'm out alone drinking at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I would be like crying up there going like, God, why do you do this to me? And I look back on that now and just be like, that's such an unfair blame to be put on, someone that, when I'm doing all these things to myself. And so that's kind of the weird thing about it is, while like I'm still involved in it, but I just don't go full in on it as much as so.
I find it interesting that, because what you're talking about is, it sounds like you did suffer demonic attack, and it's interesting. One of the things I noticed, especially as a pastor, I work with a lot of kids who have like heavy nightmares, or even I'll tell you this, as a child I was sexually abused, and beaten. I was abused in every way possible,
right?
But I think there's something about the enemy knows certain children have like a mark on their life that they could actually cause damage to his kingdom, and it, for whatever reason, it's like everything possible is going to be geared towards that kid, and a lot of what happens is, in my opinion, what I'm trying to talk is if we like if your parents don't know how to deal with what you're describing,
exactly, they
feel it's fantasy or you're exaggerating or whatever,
right?
They also don't know how to actually battle that using what Jesus wants to do,
exactly,
what he paid the price for. And so I'm sorry that you went through that, man.
I know, absolutely.
Because I wish at that age when you first experienced that, I wish people who understood that, because there's really easy ways to shut doors that happen in your life.
It really is. Yeah. That was the hardest part about it, just because I didn't necessarily hate my church or anything like that, because I even ended up trying to go to different churches and see if maybe something else worked out. And I was actually a youth group tech team member for a while there too, so I was fully in it, and actually pretty much through the staying in church, they still even accepted me, because one thing that obviously being a metal musician, everyone the first thing they see when they see metal is they wanted to go devil worshiper. I'm not always. Because for those that may not understand, metal music, for a lot of us musicians, it is our therapy. If we are letting out every demon that we have in our soul, every demon that we have in our heart, every demon that we have in our head, and we're creating something so that someone else that's going through that same battle, whether it be an inner demon or whatever they're going through, they can listen to this and be I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Somebody else has gone through what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And now I don't feel alone. And a lot of times that makes me feel bad. Because I've had so many people come up to me and tell me that my music has actually made them feel something.
It's interesting. So the book of Revelations, it says they cry, holy, holy, holy. When it multiplies it when it does 3, that is actually they're actually shouting, holy, holy, holy. So, and then even like the angels that show up to the shepherds to announce the birth of Jesus, they don't sing. They're actually, I mean, it's more of a war cadence, you know. I listen to a lot of Christian metal.
I still do too. So
Actually, there's a band you got to check out. I just found them. It's got like a 70s metal vibe to it. It's called Witch Hazel, and witch is spelled with a Y. It's like, I don't know, but they sound like Rush. It's amazing. They have check them out. They're amazing. But anyways, so that's interesting on that. So yeah, I'm sorry. Again, people can't help themselves. Everyone has their view of what they should be, and when it doesn't fit in the box, they want to kick it out.
right.
But you know, just talking about what you're saying.
Exactly.
Let me just real quick. So you say you believe in a God, but you just don't know who that is.
I just don't know.
Or you believe in a higher power.
I believe in a higher power.
Okay. But and that's what's brought you peace.
It's given me some just mental peace where it's just like in more sense, I feel like a lot of times when I'm throwing my energy out there, I feel like I'm throwing it into the universe. I just kind of let the universe kind of go ahead and be like, you know what, either this what is on your destined path for this life, or this is a roadblock. You don't need to worry about this. Go on to the next thing.
So with the childhood stuff you went through, I just wonder too, if some of the anxiety came from maybe the gospel being presented to you in a way of something you had to earn and not having that confidence that you were going to be good enough to be brought in to heaven or brought into, you know, what Jesus paid the price for with you. Did you feel that as a kid? Maybe like you had to earn approval, or you weren't good enough, or you were going to mess up?
Because the other interesting thing about me is I'm the oldest boy in a family of all girls too, so I was already kind of having to fight for attention as on a lot of things. So like in the same sense, like I was putting in such a huge fight. But what was the hardest thing about it is when I was putting up that fight in while I was at religion, be like, you know, well, I'm trying to be like the best person I still am, and I still do strive to be that person. It's just a problem of during that fight, I was also going through the ones where it's like I'm fighting so hard and I'm like trying my hardest, but I'm still not feeling content with myself.
Yeah.
And having those thoughts at like 14 or 15, I was like, this is weird. I don't like this. Like,
and maybe that's what I want to add to this.
Yeah.
And again, like we agreed, like there's no argument, so just throwing back and forth.
Yeah.
But I'd love to throw some thoughts into your mind.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I would encourage you, you know, as you're going down this path, is maybe walk away from wrong religious understanding.
yeah.
Because the only this is what I do in my church all the time. This is a fun note. Watch it. I do this little mean trick to my church all the time. Okay, it's a very mean trick. Okay, here's what I do. I tell them, I say, if a judge was about to watch 3 weeks of recorded video, 24-hour a day of your life, would that judge call you good or righteous?
Well, I mean,
Now, so first of all, what I would say is,
the
first place to start is like, would he call you good?
You know what? I believe that he would, because I actually try and bring myself every day to be like, so that's the other huge thing apart is especially since I turned, because I'm in my 30s now.
Yeah.
I wake up every day now where I'm being like, how can I make somebody's day better?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
we're talking 24 hours a day,
24 hours.
So
a day, though.
you're telling you when someone cuts you off, that reaction you have there, or at Walmart, you keep picking the wrong line, and then someone cuts you off and gets into your space. Like, let's be honest, like, good, we're having to lean on mercy from a judge at that moment, right? So, but then the next question would be, and this is the one where I get the church, I ask all the church, I'm like, so, and here's the interesting, Jesus said, why do you call me good? No one's good. So all of a sudden, Jesus is saying, good doesn't matter to me. Good isn't the standard that's going to get us anywhere. Good doesn't get us to the Father, right?
Right.
So there's a relief right there. I want to be good. I tell people all the time when I talk to them, they tell me all the good deeds. I'm like, man, that's awesome. We need more people doing good things. Like, just be nice to each other. stop killing each other.
That is
Like, you know,
like I sit there and look around and be like, you never know what struggle someone is going through. So just be decent to
yeah, come on.
because it's like it takes no time, it takes no effort, and you never know that you could be saving someone's life just by saying hi to.
So I agree with you. By your standard, you are a good person, okay? But what Jesus is saying is, good doesn't get us anywhere.
I know that there's definitely some decisions I make in my life where it's one of those things, but that's another thing that I think that also comes with the acceptance of it too, is where it's like I know that I will be judged for what I have done,
but watch this.
It's balance.
So watch this. This is gonna be awesome. Ready?
Yeah.
This is what I do. I'm really mean to the church. I do this. You can ask them. They've been. This is so fun. I mean, it's just so funny. So I'll ask everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone, you know, it's like, hey, listen. So we've already eliminated a good thing. It's not going to matter. So now the judge is going to decide, are you a righteous person? And I'll tell the whole church, I'm like, right now, if you believe that judge, be honest. I mean, before God, be honest. If you believe that judge, you know, this is what I'd say. Would you be able to look at that judge in the eye and say, I'm righteous? That's the question. Could you look at the judge in the eye and say, I'm a righteous
You have to
person?
sit there and wonder, would their ego, when they know that they've done bad, or would they lie and try and be like, no, I've been a really good person, but like, your ego is going to give away that, where it's like, because then it'll be like, well, really, because here's something that happened, and it's like, then you got to have to, once again, kind of cup the judgment on what you've done, and either you're going to have an explanation, or you're going to kind of be like, oh no, I've been thinking that I was holier than thou, and like, I'm not.
Yeah. So, and we have two camps. We have the people who are like, they know they got to fight with their wife on the way here, so they're like, they don't raise their hand. We have the others like, well, if I raise my hand, I'm being prideful, right? So then they don't. So it always works out this way, where it's only a few people that raise their hand.
Right.
And here's the thing, the Bible says in I think it's Isaiah. It says, our righteousness is filthy rags, and so we can't do anything to earn righteousness in the sight of God. So what we find out is the reason Jesus died on the cross was he became our righteousness for us. Like he died, shed his blood. So it's not that I do things to become righteous. No, I let Jesus cover me with the payment he paid. He makes me righteous. I'm righteous because he's righteous. Like he died for me, so I don't go around trying to hurt. Now, because of what he's done for me, I can't help but do what he does, because it's like when you hang out with someone long enough. My wife and I, we're having some of the same. We use some of the same phrases now. You know?
Yeah, I can relate. Well, I've been in a relationship for 10 years, and it's crazy when you're with someone long enough. You actually copy each other's manners.
That's right.
Because we like talk in this nonsensical language to each other, but it makes sense to everyone.
There you go.
To us, but anyone else walks in on that, they're like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, and that's what happens too when you're following Christ.
Nothing good happened.
Yeah, but when you're following Christ, that's what's happening also. So I just want to put that in this way. I think maybe there's two things that happen. I think you suffered a demonic attack, and I'm sorry nobody in your life knew how to handle it. Well, I can tell you right now, I can pray with you and end every demonic attack in your life, because we can shut down that door and command that thing to leave. Now I can't keep it away from you ever.
Right.
You know, because
whatever get it fully gone.
I can in my life, because I've shut those doors, and Christ is my protector. So I'm telling you, I had shadows that walked in my house when I was a kid. We had unexplained things fall off shelves, you know.
Currently going through that, actually. Yeah. Enough. So we had an incident at my apartment. We had this party tray on our fridge, and my girlfriend, I was at work at the time, and she sent me a text message and goes, I was just sitting there doing the dishes, and all of a sudden she said the party tray went from the top of the fridge and flew across the room onto the floor. And I just remember texting her back and like, either your relatives that she believes is haunting our apartment, his name is Scott, it was one of her family members that passed away around the time before we got out, and we think that was messing with them. But once that happened, we're like, no, I think there might be something else in here. And we've done like cleansing and like prayers and such, like get like that thing clear, but whatever is in there, he just gone.
Well, again, and this is going on what I believe. So, some of these cleansings you do, are you smudging and
smudging? Some, I think it was also.
But you're saying it hasn't worked.
It has not. No.
Interesting, right? So what I'm gonna say is this: I know people. When it comes to ghosts, I don't think our souls linger. So we go into kind of this, like, your soul is going to be with God or not with God when you die. That's what I believe, right? And so what I believe is, I actually believe that demons do pretend to be people. You know,
I actually do believe that very
because think about it. You're cool with having Uncle Scott hang out, or, you know, what was his name?
Scott.
Yeah.
Well, Scott,
Yeah, it's like, you're cool. It's fine. I mean, yeah, you're misbehaving, you know.
He does like pranks here and there, and those big moments.
But
this is not. This is not.
But this is it. But if you knew it was like Azazel, right? The actual demon god, right? You'd be like, I'm not comfortable with that. So, but why would he say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a demon sent here, and my only goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. My only goal is to make you afraid, is to bring not peace in your life. You know what I mean?
That's actually really interesting. Yeah, we've talked about that a few times where like I've been like, because obviously my girlfriend it affects her harder, just it's something that she's hoping it's continually him, but you know there's got to be to some acceptance. Like, we don't know where our apartment was built. We don't know what happened on that land.
Well, and you guys' lives too. Your guys' lives too can open up in a way that you can actually open doors to invite things to come in. So it may be that this loss that your wife or your girlfriend. I'm sorry.
Trying to get that one. So.
Well, we're gonna get you down this path. Maybe we'll get you there too. So I've got your back, lady. I'll get a ring on your finger soon.
She's already been barking up that train. Now my family's starting to do it, so I don't think I got much options left.
But what I'm saying is, it's possible that she's opening doors, right? Like, she's opening, or that you've opened doors.
Yeah.
And that you've accepted something that's not there. So it's something to think about. And I tell you, it's really easy to clean the house on this. But the things that you're doing, the smudging and those things, those are actual doorways that demons use to stay in.
And that's the funny thing is, I'm sitting there telling ourselves, it's like, we're trying so hard to make sure we don't do anything that messes with any doorways or anything like that. Because, like, we don't mess with, like, Ouija boards or any of that. Wow, like, we're paranormal interested, but we're not wanting to become stories.
Yeah.
So,
so I would encourage you on this. Like, I'm telling you, like, yes, I know that there are things that look like ghosts, but what it is not, again, this is not for argument's sake. I'm just telling you, and if you think about it, demons have been around since the writing of the Bible. They know scripture. They know Jesus. They know his name. They recognize him instantly. Like, when you were in church, you read, like, the demoniacs. Like, when he comes, he goes, why have you come to torture me before my time? Right? So he knows of him. And so, stuff like that. But so let me ask this. What are your thoughts right now about what I've shared with you? Are you, what, does it strike something in you?
It's striking back to what I remember when I was growing up in the church, but what I also do feel at the same time because everyone wants to try and assume that just because, like, that, like, I may wear things with, like, pentagrams and stuff, that means, like, I fully believe in it. And a lot of times it's just me supporting friends, or it's also just the fact that it's just, like, it's basically just something on me. It's not anything I actually, like, truly believe in. I don't, like, worship Satan or anything like that. And like, that's the thing is that you are already one of the people that made it a very big thing. Because, like, I want to make this message clear to anybody. Just because we play metal music or, like, dress dark and whatever, that does not mean we are full-on devil worship. Sure. Like, because everyone wants to assume because I have stretched ears and colored hair that it's like, oh, I'm not living the holy life. It's like, you can't know that unless you know me. Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, it's not as bad as what it used to be. Because, like, the judgment when I was first kind of getting into this whole phase, it was a little bit worse, but it's actually kind of seemed like, I think since COVID and all that, I think everyone's just realizing we've now went through 3 years of some of the worst things that could happen to us or to our families. So, and we just need to be better to each other. Wow. If there's a message to take home from this, be better to each other. Like, again, it's not that hard, and it can literally just make someone's day, or, you could be saving someone from making a horrible.
Well, I appreciate your time, bro. And I hope you'll hear what I'm saying too.
Oh, no. Everything's going down.
Here's what I want you to know.
Yeah.
Jesus never abandoned you, bro. I believe this with everything inside of me. Think about this. What was the likelihood of us being here? Like, I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm actually in a smaller town in Oklahoma City.
I'm not actually lying to you when I say that my brain just went.
Yeah. So I really believe God brought me out here for a purpose. And one of them is, I really think he wants you to know he didn't abandon you during those hard times. Even though you felt it and you were frustrated, you felt alone.
Right.
I also want you to know that he does not need you to earn his love. Jesus is all you need to receive his love. And then you don't have to work for anything. And so I just want you to ponder on that. I'm not asking you to do anything or change anything right now.
No.
I just want to encourage you on that idea that Jesus, I don't believe he abandoned. You know why I don't think he abandoned you? Think about this. The Bible tells us that the death of Jesus, the crucifixion actually started in probably early morning,
Right.
with a scourging in his back, and it went to the 9th hour when he died. You're talking a easily 12-hour process. The trial before it started Thursday night, it ran all night. The last actual food he eats is at that Passover supper.
Right.
From that point forward, he's having no liquids or anything until right before he dies, when they give him soured wine. So he goes through and he's praying so hard because he knows what he's going through that he stresses to the point of bleeding. He sweats blood. And he paid that price so that we could be connected with the Father. So then why would he do all this? And I believe this is true. And historians, even outside of like the Bible, there's like Josephus and other Jewish historians who actually point to Jesus being real and that the resurrection is real. There's actual evidence that they all hold to. In fact, right now, the shroud of, what is that? They have a shroud that they say,
Oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, they're pretty. But what I'm saying is that, so there's evidence that this, and so if it's real, if everything is real, and I believe that everything is enough to where I drive out here on my own dime to get here, right?
Right.
I believe it's real. If it's real, why would he go through all that and then in your darkest moment just leave you alone? Isn't it possible what happened was he was there with you, but it was like the enemy clouded it to where you couldn't see, and that even though you didn't see it, there are areas where instead of you committing suicide or over drinking, and dying of a,
Whatever came from that.
Yeah.
Like I said,
his hand has been on protection on your life, guiding you to a point where you can hear this message. You see it?
that's actually blowing my mind right now.
So if you receive anything else from me today, I just want you to know, I want to be one to say, let me say this. I'm sorry the church let you down. And I'm sorry that you met Christians who didn't live up to it. I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't live up to the standard of Jesus all the time. Like I wanna, everything inside me, I wanna, but I'm gonna tell you, I screw up, I mess up, but my Father won't give up on me. So I just keep going back to him and I say, God, forgive me. I go back to people I mess up with too, because sometimes I just get angry and I get too sharp with people now.
Right.
What's cool is I've been serving the Lord for 20 years. It gets a little easier to not like be the old person.
Exactly.
But there's still moments where it's like, and sometimes it seems to go towards my wife first. So I have to go to her, babe, I just snapped. And I should have been so harsh in the way I said that. And I hope you'll forgive me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I had to do that a lot too, especially with like while I was kind of going through my growth process of everything. And what's kind of funny is it's like I was trying to like put a finger on like why everything has happened the way it is, because pretty much all it took is I just had an epiphany one day where I just felt like an old version of myself pass away.
Wow.
And it was a person that was when I say my progress, like I used to be someone that was drinking like a bottle like a week or so. It would only last me a couple days. I was unhappy. I was depressed. I was anxious all the time. Like I was just doing horrible things to my life and the other people around me. But then all it took was, just having a moment where I was like, oh my God, it took 30 years, but now everything's kind of starting to finally make sense, where I now know like what I need to do, what I needed to do to get better, and what I needed to do to bring myself to be the person that I truly wanted to be. And that was a lot of, realizing that blame needed to be placed not on other people, but if it's me doing it, blame's got to be put on me.
That's awesome, bro. Well, so I just want you to, I'm sorry the church at times failed you and church people failed you. And I just want you to hear this, man. Jesus does love you. And he does want to have a relationship with you. And that young man you used to be, I'm not talking pre-metal kid.
Right.
I'm talking that person who there was a side of you at one time. You knew Jesus.
Yep.
And you loved him. And I'm going to tell you right now, you said you never had peace back then. There's a new peace that you can have. And it's this peace when you come not under religion, but under Jesus, and just say, you forgive me, my sins. You make me whole. And I'll trust that your payment on the cross is enough and I don't have to do anything else. And then you quit trying to earn salvation, because you're still doing it even with your spiritualism.
Exactly.
You're trying to earn goodness in your own way. So,
and that's the thing is like where it's like, I think I'm always like with my spiritualism, I realize it's not full on. There's still a hint of religion, because like every time I listen to like some of my Christian metal music, there is still like a little warmth I feel because it's like because I know that this is like a comforting space for me, and I feel safe with the people that I've met throughout.
Awesome. Well, brother, thank you for being part of both the podcasts.
I know.
And, you know what? I'll go ahead and link people to you too so they can check you out. And the people, I'm sure people will send love your way. I don't know if the people that listen to this are going to listen to.
I do not blame them.
But here's what I know that the people that watch this are going to do. I know they're going to send you encouraging messages, and I hope you read it from that way. So if anyone watches it, because it could, if you read it wrong, it might sound that way, but it's not. It'll be out of love. So. But thanks for jumping on that podcast today, brother. Nice to meet you, man. Take it easy, bro.
Thank you.